Welcome to the video. Today we're looking at the Emil 2, the tier 9 Swedish heavy tank. I'm going to be upfront with you on this. I used quite a lot of free XP on this tank to finish off its stock grind. Because, Jesus Christ, this tank here, when it comes to a stock grind, is one of the worst I've come across in a while. And the reason why is simply because of how goddamn diabolically slow this thing is whenever it's stock. Seriously, like this thing has, I think, an 11 horsepower per ton ratio, and it feels like it has a horsepower per ton ratio of like 7. It's honestly horrific how slow this tank is before you get the engine and before you get the gun, because the gun reduces the weight by about a ton, and the engine gives you an extra, I think it's about 130 horsepower. So the engine obviously makes the biggest difference, but my god, the amount of difference that it makes just having the engine power is pretty incredible. Because let's just say that the top speed of this thing here, from my experience when it was stock, was about 24 kilometers an hour. So this thing felt like a T110E3 whenever you're driving this stock. It is honestly incredible how slow it is. With it fully upgraded, it now feels a lot more mobile than it did. It now feels more like what you would expect from a somewhat mobile heavy tank at tier 9. Like, it's still not the quickest heavy tank in the game, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it's probably faster than things like the E75, the Maujin, and the VK4502B. That's something I really could not say that before. Like, I couldn't say with a straight face that this thing felt faster than, say, a VKB, because it really wasn't. And the Maujin, I honestly felt like kind of maintained its speed of 20 kilometers an hour better than this thing maintained its speed of 24. It was honestly kind of incredible just how rough the speed was on this thing. And yeah, this is the most important thing to remember when it comes to this tank. You expose the side of the turret, you get penned. It's practically the main lesson in this tank. You keep the face of the turret pointed directly at the enemy and you do not turn it. It's not like the Germans where you angle the side of your turret, kind of like you side script a tank. In this thing here, you angle the turret, you get penned. That's why I'm being very sort of hesitant about going forward, because I know there's a 268 back there, and having a 268 back there is kind of intimidating, because I don't really want to take 750 damage to the side of the turret, especially considering that's one of the more accurate 750 alpha damage tank destroyers in the game. And actually, you know what, I'm going to be kind of an ass and just shoot the Conqueror instead of actually, you know, going for the threat. But I'll get one shot into him anyway, just to make him a little bit more cautious about being aggressive. Because whenever you leave someone that amount of health, it makes them a lot more thoughtful about moving forward. Is probably the best way to phrase it. And that 60 TV back there, he is the only one on his team left that has full health on this flank. Honestly, don't think that's a good thing for you, dude. Come on, be greedy. Okay, got away with being greedy to an extent. Did lose a lot of health there doing that, but that was 2 tier 9s removed from the battle. What tanks actually shot me there? Okay, so I got shot by the Conqueror. I got penned by the 6TP, that's not surprising. The Conqueror also penned me, as well as the Charioteer. Okay, so I got somewhat lucky, also somewhat unlucky there. But for the most part, I think that was probably a relatively good trade. I lose about 1,000 health, and they lose 2 tier 9s. Also, this Kranwagen, like, if I'm able to do this well, I'm probably going to try and get one shot into him. I'm not going to risk any more than that, because if I push my luck, I will end up getting myself killed. Because the Conqueror and the Charioteer in the background, I think in hindsight, it might have been a better idea to kill the Conqueror rather than screwing around shooting the 268. 268 is still alive as well, that's the other thing. We've put a lot of their tanks on very low health, but a lot of them are still alive. They're still there to fight. And because they are, nope, not going to risk it. I'm getting spotted too quickly there. I'm not going to risk turning the side of my turret and getting whacked in the side by the Charioteer and the Conqueror again. It's just not really worth it. Especially considering we do have tanks over here which still have a lot of their health remaining. And I will get killed if I get hit by both of those tanks, which I'm talking about. My alternative though is to pretty much come from this sort of position here and try to get some shots into these guys, but well, even that didn't really work very well because a Jagdtiger shot me in the side of the turret. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get the kill shot on this Grand Wagon. It's really irritating that I can't get the kill shot on that guy, but yeah, the 277 needs to... What? Why are you going this way? Like, the reason I'm going this way is because I have gun depression, but you, like, I would have honestly said that guy would have been the one that had to push into the Grand Wagon and kill him, and then move around to kill the 6 TP. I don't know why he's coming this direction. Like, that doesn't seem like the greatest idea, honestly. But let's see, they have, or we have a T95, VK100, and an Object 277, and for some reason the majority of us are like just abandoning this flank. Like, I really can't expose myself anymore because I will get absolutely decimated if I do. So I'm having to play fairly cautious, but when it comes to this here, like, I genuinely thought that 277 would have been the one to just kind of push forward, kill the Grand Wagon, then like just potentially like just get into cover underneath the guns of the tank destroyers, and after that there just sort of deal with the 6 TP later or something like that. I don't know. I didn't expect that guy to fall back the way he did. So I guess now it's just kind of up to me just kind of like hold ground here and also get my gun back in action because, well, it's handy to have your gun fully accurate. That 277 is on 900 health, which means if 2 tanks get shots into him, he will die. And honestly, this is fairly rough as far as fights go. That charioteer might be in a position to shoot me if I do this, but I think it's probably worth doing just to see. Also, there's the Grand Wagon. I'm going to get a shot into this 6 TP though, because 6 TP is more important tank to get some shots into. Okay, so that's the 50p or 6 TP dealt with. I'm going to fall back now as quickly as I can because I don't want to get myself killed. This tank is still not fast, but should be a little bit more capable defending itself in this sort of position. Damn it! I was trying to turn it sideways so that I could avoid getting killed, but I got killed anyway, son of a bitch. That's really annoying. I didn't think that guy was going to be as aggressive as that when it came to coming forward. I'm still kind of wondering like how well that sort of decision's gone for that 277 who fell back. I'm wondering like how well that played out because I actually don't know how much damage this guy actually managed to do whenever he did fall back, so I'll be curious to see what the results of this game end up looking like. But I do think we did fairly well there in that game considering it was a tier 10 game. There were tier 8s in it, of course. I was killed by a tier 8 in this game, but I still think it went fairly well. 4600 damage wasn't too bad, in my opinion. Also, if I was guessing, I would have guessed the Grand Wagon probably went over that direction, but... oh, never mind. He went over there instead. 277. Like, even if he misses a shot, he can just ram him, so no worries there. And the Jagdtiger, well, there's no chance in hell he's going to win this fight on his own because, well, it's a Jagdtiger against multiple enemies. Not going to end very well unless it's on a map which has very linear sort of directions you can go. And the 268v4 is coming out of nowhere to claim the kill, and that's the game over. So I think I did about 4,500 damage in that game. 1,500 spatting damage, so about 6,000 combined, not too bad. Let's see what sort of mastery level that was technically worth. Probably around about 2nd class if I had to guess. Made kind of optimistic. Oh, it was actually 1st class. Not too bad. Kind of happy with that. I actually got the highest XP in the game in that one. I'm happy enough with that actually. Considering I think I could have played that better, like that's a fairly good result, I think. but it really shows you the difference it makes just having this thing here upgraded a bit. It's still not a very fast heavy. If you're expecting this thing to get around at this speed, you're going to be sorely disappointed. It's not like things like the T10 or WZ-111-14 where they can't actually go that speed. This thing is not like that. This thing is more like, it's more along the lines of things like the E75, where it can potentially get up to like a higher speed, but its top speed is going to probably even out around about like 34, 35 kilometers an hour most of the time. But whenever you're going down a hill, you can exploit that massive top speed to get around surprisingly quickly and catch people off guard. Where was it again? Oh yeah, 56 kilometers an hour top speed. Also, that reverse speed's fairly good as well, which means if you push yourself too far forward and you have the top engine, you can actually get back fairly quickly. It's pretty handy for whenever you're on top of ridgelines and stuff. But you can see how much of a part of weight ratio jump you have at tier 10 in comparison to tier 9. I mean, you go from having, I think, what is it, like about 15 to having 18. Yeah, it's a pretty big jump. It's about the same sort of difference you get between this thing with its stock engine and this thing with its upgraded engine. So I think this thing is a decent tank, but I think the Crown Wagon is definitely going to be the pinnacle of this line.